You ever feel like you're just swimming in information? Especially, when it's about really crucial stuff like safety, well-being.
Oh, definitely.
And think about all the advice flying around, particularly about young people. It can be hard to know what actually works, what matters.
It's a huge challenge. There's just so much noise, and finding that clear, practical wisdom, especially for preventing harm, it feels like looking for a needle in a haystack sometimes.
Well, that's exactly what we're trying to do today. Welcome, everyone, to a deep dive focused on preventing harm. We're drawing from some really rich sources that look at this, well, holistically.
Right, from a unique perspective.
Our mission, really, is to unpack how some foundational ideas, practical wisdom, even modern insights kind of weave together to give us guidance on creating safer spaces, especially in families, communities.
Yeah, and what really stood out to me looking at this material is how it's not just about rules. It's deeper. It's about cultivating a kind of holistic well-being, feeling genuinely grounded, secure.
Exactly. And today, we're really zeroing in on one part of this that I found fascinating.
Yeah.
The role of open communication,
Yeah.
good foundational knowledge, and building self-confidence.
Mm-hmm.
These seem to be the core internal safeguards,
Yeah.
for protecting ourselves and the people we care about. I think there's some real aha
Yeah,
moments here.
I think so too.
Okay, so let's kick off with this core idea from the sources.
Yeah.
Ignorance is actually dangerous, specifically regarding sexual attraction, human development. They argue pretty strongly that not having clear knowledge isn't just passive, it creates a dangerous void.
That's the key word, isn't it? Void. It's particularly risky for teenagers. It doesn't just leave them uninformed, it leaves them, well, sort of adrift, trying to figure out huge questions about themselves, relationships.
Right.
And without reliable, values-based info, that natural curiosity they have, it doesn't just go away. It often pushes them towards, frankly, problematic sources.
Yeah, and the sources are pretty direct about where kids might end up looking. They mention things like online porn, superficial media, certain social media groups, places that don't just fail to inform, they actively distort how kids understand intimacy, what healthy relationships look like. It's like filling that gap with something harmful.
And it's not just the surface level distortion either. What's really profound is how the sources link this back to Rembam's 8 chapters. They talk about imagination's power over our soul, our character.
Wow, like an ancient take on cognitive psychology.
Kind of, yeah. Unguided exposure, especially to explicit stuff, can really warp how someone sees male-female relationships, pulling them way off from ideas like holiness or purity. The images, the thoughts you take in, they don't just float by. They actually shape your inner world, your whole life, really.
That's powerful. What you feed your mind, especially when you're young, literally reshapes you.
Yeah.
And that leads into what the sources call the second scenario of vulnerability, which sounds pretty insidious.
It really is. This is where abusers exploit that very lack of knowledge, that naivety in young people or even vulnerable adults. And the chilling part. The sources stress that. Often it's not a stranger, it's someone known, sometimes even close family. They use emotional manipulation, subtle tactics to disguise harmful touches as, affection or empathy.
So it's not like a sudden attack necessarily.
Rarely. It's often slow.
Good.
An insidious boundary crossing disguised as care.
That alone is a huge realization for many, I think. The danger often looks familiar. So if that's the risk, what's the path forward? For healing, but more importantly, for prevention.
Okay, so the absolute crucial thing is providing accurate, clear, open information. But it's not just about facts and figures.
It's more than that.
It's about empowerment. When someone has the right, unambiguous information, it gives them the emotional and psychological permission, almost, to see harmful acts for what they are.
Okay.
It provides the framework to say, wait, that wasn't okay. That wasn't affection. That was abuse. That understanding is the first step towards getting help from people they trust, from professionals.
And it's interesting, this isn't just a modern response to modern problems, right? The sources mention Rachel Neria,
Yeah. A real trailblazer.
who was talking openly about these sensitive topics decades ago.
Yeah.
So there's a history here of values-based open education being seen as the answer. Society's wrestled with this before.
Exactly. And the answers often come back to clear, honest talk rooted in core values.
So clear understanding, trust vital in childhood. What about adolescence?
Yeah.
That famously tricky stage. The sources mention that the lack of knowledge then during all that physical and emotional change can cause deep confusion.
It's such a critical period for identity formation. And that confusion, it can show up in lots of ways, including, emerging feelings about same-sex attraction.
Right.
Which, if there's no context or understanding, can lead to terrible anxiety, guilt. Young people can feel really isolated or like something's wrong with them.
But this is where the sources offer something really hopeful, I thought. They don't say these feelings, these energies are bad in themselves.
No, not at all.
They frame them as natural potential, positive potential for growth, meant to eventually find its sacred expression within marriage. So it's not about stamping it out, but guiding it, understanding it.
That positive reframing is so important, and it connects directly to tailored education. The Talmudic idea. Educate a child according to his way.
Proverbs, right?
Proverbs, yes. It means education has to be sensitive, adapted to the individual, their age, gender, personality, and the messaging has to be crystal clear. No ambiguity, no mixed signals. That can be so confusing.
And it's practical too, isn't it? The sources talk about teaching actual skills.
Absolutely. Concrete stuff. How to say a firm no to touches that feel wrong, how to spot and avoid situations that seem off, and crucially, who are the trusted adults you can turn to? These are real tools.
Not just abstract ideas.
Exactly. Real tools for navigating life. And this builds towards such a fundamental message for anyone who's been harmed.
Which is?
That there is absolutely zero shame for the person who experienced abuse. Zero. The sources are unequivocal. The blame is only on the abuser. Full stop.
That need to be heard loud and clear.
It does. Repeating that message gives such a solid emotional foundation. It helps the child or anyone internalize, this wasn't my fault, which is just vital for healing, for seeking help.
Okay, let's shift slightly now to what the sources call the cornerstone of safety, the family environment, and how that builds self-confidence. They really emphasize open communication, mutual trust between parents and kids.
It's foundational, truly. When kids feel that trust, it creates this secure base. They feel okay expressing fears, asking awkward questions, sharing worries.
Because they know someone's actually listening.
Yes, and listening without judgment. Right. That secure anchor, as the sources put it, gives them inner strength that helps them their whole lives.
And that supportive environment directly builds strong self-confidence in kids, which isn't just, a nice bonus. It's key.
It's absolutely key. It helps them tell right from wrong in social situations. It helps them protect their own boundaries assertively. It's like building an internal compass, not just handing them a map of rules.
I like that analogy, internal compass.
And the sources talk about just daily dialogue, simple chats that can grow into deeper emotional support, consistent responses from parents. This helps keep a child's natural innocence safe while still developing a mature understanding over time.
So it's not one big scary talk.
No, it's gentle, ongoing. And critically, if info about sexuality comes from a healthy place, parents, trusted educators, calmly, openly, that helps maintain innocence too while guiding them.
And it's fascinating how modern research totally backs this up. The sources note how kids raised in secure, loving, stable homes, they develop strong foundations for trust in all their relationships later on.
That consistent connection really instills healthy communication habits, a sense of belonging. It makes perfect sense.
It really does.
And it reminds me of that teaching from Mishnah Avat, Al Tehi Rasha Bifnei Atzmecha. Do not be wicked in your own eyes.
Don't see yourself as wicked.
Right. The sources connect this straight to modern ideas of self-worth. A positive self-image, they argue, is maybe the most crucial tool for self-protection, because it helps you resist negative pressures, set boundaries, build that emotional resilience. It's about knowing your own inherent worth, valuing yourself from the inside out.
And the flip side, when that secure base isn't there, the sources touch on that too.
Briefly, but yeah, powerfully. Kids in chaotic, unstable homes, they might lack emotional regulation, resort to aggression, control.
Because they haven't learned other ways.
Exactly. Leading to real trouble forming healthy connections later, feeling alienated. It's a stark contrast, really highlights how vital that secure environment is.
So bringing this all together, what's the big takeaway from our dive today? It seems prevention isn't just about watching out for danger or following strict rules. It starts much deeper.
It really does. It starts with cultivating knowledge, fostering genuine trust, and building that deep internal self-confidence. Those are the real safeguards, rooted right in these sources.
Yeah.
And if you look at the bigger picture, the sources suggest true safety isn't a final destination you reach. It's more like an ongoing journey, living with wisdom, with awareness, but not constant fear.
So vigilance, but not anxiety.
Precisely. recognizing the good in the world, believing in a fundamentally good creation, while still being aware that harm exists. It's a balance.
So maybe a final thought for everyone listening. How could embracing this kind of holistic approach, starting with ourselves, our families, not just protect us, but maybe help build a society that's more resilient, more compassionate, more enlightened? What's one small step maybe you could take today, this week, to strengthen those foundations, whether it's in your own life, your own home, or maybe out in your community? Something to think about.